Hey, welcome in the YLose Campus pod. We do it every single week. Lance Taylor right here for you. Daily package 49, weekly 99, monthly 299. Jump on board with us and win. Full transparency here. Week 5 was not great. We were 6-8 overall. Really a bad Saturday. And I blame a few people. We'll start with Hugh Freeze and the awful coaching in the second half against Oklahoma. How in the hell they lost that game up 11 against Oklahoma? Oklahoma's offense could do absolutely nothing. Michael Hawkins hits one big play up top in a 3rd and 6 with roughly 4 minutes to go. Peyton Thorne throws a pick 6 and just a devastating loss. Really good at night outside of Oregon. We had a really big play on the Oregon Ducks. 28-3, 15 seconds to go in the half. Dylan Gabriel's just surgically cutting these guys up. And for whatever reason, he throws one. Can't even say it was like miscommunication between him and one of his receivers. There was nobody even in the flats. Dude takes it 96 yards into the half instead of 35-3. It's 28-10, and we don't get the cover, minus 25.5. And easily, if you guys watched it, you know we had the cover there. Hey, look, these things happen. It sucks, but we are coming off of 6-8, where things could be a lot different if we just would have gotten 2 obvious breaks. But we roll into week 6. We're going to crush it for you guys. Jump on board with us. Win here at YLose. We are very excited about this weekend. It starts on a Thursday night. Friday night action has been fantastic, and then a full slate on Saturday. I don't think that we can get a game of the magnitude we got this past weekend with Georgia at Alabama. That was absolutely fantastic. We stayed away from it. And to be completely honest with you, I'm right here. I cover Alabama. I kind of like Georgia in that spot. I did like the over, so we would have split if we would have given it out. Hell, what a game. We are going to start, though, in the SEC in week 6, and it's an early game. I don't know if we'll necessarily play it. I like it. Doesn't mean we will give it out on Saturday, but Missouri heading into College Station to take on Texas A&M, and it looks like Mike Elko, and I said this early, I thought A&M had an opportunity to really be a surprise team, and they still do. They lose week 1 at home to Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame comes back and completely blows it and loses to Northern Illinois, and it looks like Notre Dame's kind of maybe ironed out their wrinkles, so to speak, knocking off Louisville last week and had a comfortable lead in that game, pretty much controlled the game, and they ended up getting out of there winning by 7. I don't know where you guys were shopping that game. I ended up not playing it. I actually kind of leaned Notre Dame in that game, and I don't know if would have gotten a win or a push depending on where you shopped it. But anyway, Texas A&M with Marcel Reed has been better than what you saw with Connor Wegman. The running game has really gotten established. They were fortunate to beat Arkansas, but Arkansas A&M, if you followed the series, although A&M's won 12 of 13 from them, these games are always one-possession games that really go to the wire. With all that said, I think A&M is a much improved team. And now I'm going to ask you guys a trivia question. Who has the longest current win streak in the Power 5 or Power 4, however you want to look at it right now in college football? It is a team out of the SEC. It is the Missouri Tigers at 8 consecutive wins. That is tied with the Army for the longest current winning streak right now in the FBS. With all that said, man, Missouri has really struggled against BC, struggled against Vanderbilt. They're coming off a bye, so that's a pretty good spot. Normally, if you're playing the 11 o'clock, I think you want to be on the road. With all that said, I just think Texas A&M, 4 straight wins. They're 2-0 in one-possession games. Fully expect this to maybe be a one-possession game. This is a team that had lost 8 consecutive one-possession games under Jimbo Fisher. One of the reasons he was fired last year, and Mike Elko is now there. But I do like A&M behind Marcel Reed. Brady Cook struggling on the road, maybe in this spot. Missouri's living on borrowed time, in my opinion. Weak schedule going into it. A lot of people penciled Missouri into the college football playoff based on the weak schedule. You know what? If you're not a great team, it doesn't matter if you've got a weak schedule, a loss will find you. And I think that first loss is coming this Saturday in College Station to A&M. And if A&M wins this game, you start to look at this. Circle rivalry weekend, Texas rolling into Texas A&M, and can you imagine if both of those teams possibly had 2 losses? Now you got to find 2 losses out of Texas, but if that game came down to a game that decided whether or not a team was in the college football playoff or out, those teams hate each other. Obviously, we haven't seen this game played since 2011. I think everybody's looking forward to that. Anyway, big step for A&M to get to that point, though, and it starts 12 o'clock ABC Eastern time, Missouri at A&M, but we do like A&M. And just where we're shopping at, let me check. I think A&M is currently a 2-point favorite in the early window. It's gone to 2.5. So 2.5, total of 48.5. But we are going to play A&M. We're going to lock in on those guys minus the 2.5 points. Our next game, we're going to stick in the SEC. The Auburn Tigers, again, completely killed us last week. Where that game's in hand, there's no way they can lose the game, and they find a way to lose it. Oklahoma's offense was doing nothing. Big play, turnaround pick six. We get bit in the ass. Auburn has not defeated a top 5 road team since 2007. And you look at this Georgia team, I know people are questioning a team that only beats Kentucky by a point, and then a team that was down 28-0 and 30-7 at the break against Alabama. For them to be able to come back and take a lead with 2.5 minutes to go, I thought was pretty incredible. I think maybe, identifying a couple of playmakers on that offense with Dominic Lovett. I think what you're getting with the Bell kid, a guy that showed flashes last year, I think, Georgia's going to iron out their problems as well. 7 straight wins over Auburn. They're 6-1 against the number in that spot. Since they faced Alabama going all the way back to 1990, they are 12-2 straight up and 8-6 against the number. Let's make it 9-6. I think Georgia rolls here. It's a big number of 24, but Auburn is a turnover machine. And I give Peyton Thorne a lot of credit. He only turned it over one time last week, but that one turnover was massive en route to a pick six that ultimately lost them that game. But we're going to lock it in here. We're going to lay a big number minus the 24 with the Georgia Bulldogs. I know people really, especially now, do not like playing these big numbers. Does not scare me at all. Game number 3, going out to the West Coast. Michigan, another one of these teams living on borrowed time. I give them a lot of credit. They were able to come back after USC took the lead late 2 weeks ago. Michigan, again, unable to throw the football this week. They survived Minnesota, and now they head out west, traveling to the Mountain Time Zone or the Pacific Time Zone just for the 3rd time in the last 20 years. By the way, 0-2 straight up, 0-2 against the number in those games. Look, they've got 12 consecutive road wins dating back to 2021. This is their first road game since November 18th last year in Columbus against Ohio State. They're 116th in the nation in total offense. Khalil Mullings running the football, Donovan Edwards. You've got that identified right now if you're Sharon Moore in Michigan. But they don't have a quarterback that can throw it. That is fact. Davis Warren didn't work out. Alex Orji cannot throw the ball. Now you're going on the road to a team that is yet to cover. There are only 5 teams in college football that have not covered. Washington 0-5 against the number. They are a 2.5-point favorite in this spot. I thought they might go off at a dog, and who knows, maybe some big money flips that. But they're 0-10 straight up and 2-8 against the number as a home dog since 2013. They have won 17 consecutive home games. Now, that was all under Kayla DeBoer. But I do think Jed Fish, watching this team, they're really close. We had them on Friday night, one of our 8 losers this past weekend against Rutgers. I thought they were the better team. Self-inflicted mistakes, especially on special teams, cost them that game. But I think Washington flexes here. I think this is another one of those teams, much like A&M. I think under Jed Fish, they get better each and every week. Coleman running the football will be the difference here. But I do like Washington minus the 2.5 against Michigan. That is our 3rd game. Want to remind you, if you want to jump on board and you want to win with us all weekend here at YLose, go to ylose.com/Lance. It is that simple. Daily package $49, weekly $99, monthly $299. Here's the way this is going to work. We're going to give you 3 plays on Saturday. We've already circled these. If we don't hit these 3 plays and you buy a daily for $49, we're going to upgrade you to the weekly. If you buy the weekly for $99, we will upgrade you to the monthly. We've got to go 3-0 coming this Saturday. We'll give you more details on that. But jump on board, start winning with us here at YLose/Lance. It is that easy. Our 4th game of the night, we are going to take a look in the Big Ten. So weird to say that still, with USC heading to Minnesota. This is another one of those time zone games to look at. USC 2-7 against the number outside of the Pacific time zone since 2021. As a road favorite of 7 points or more, USC has won 19 consecutive games straight up since 2014. This USC team just doesn't feel whole. And if you had USC this past Saturday, say your prayers, because you were very fortunate to get out of there with a win against Wisconsin. Wisconsin was dominating the game in the first half. They were controlling the game. And then USC, the athletes, take over, and they end up winning the game, going away and covering the number. As good as DeAnton Lynn's defense looked the first couple of weeks, I think it's looked a little shaky the last couple of weeks. Minnesota, I said this a couple of times last week. I don't know if I said it here on the YLose Campus pod. But I thought Minnesota for Power 5 maybe had the worst quarterback situation in all of football. Max Brosmer goes out, has a really good fourth quarter against a tough Michigan defense. They make it a 3-point game. The onside kick they get, the Big Ten has admitted they were wrong on that offsides call. I don't know. It looked like it possibly could have been offsides. I was pulling for Minnesota just because of the chaos to find a way to win that game. But Brosmer played pretty well down the stretch. If he doesn't make mistakes on Saturday night, I think Darius Taylor is going to be able to run the football in this USC defense. And USC sitting at 4-1, looking to go to 5-1 and to crack back into the top 10. They're not a top 10 team. They're just not a top 10 team. Miller Moss has been good. The defense has been better. I like Woody Marks, but I think this is a weird spot. I like Minnesota plus the 8.5. This is a big number when you think about the way Minnesota will run the football with Taylor, and Minnesota's solid defense. So I like Minnesota plus the 8.5. We're going to lock that in as our fourth game. Our fifth and final game, we're going to the ACC, and we have got the undefeated Duke Blue Devils taking on Georgia Tech. Duke 5-0 for the first time in 30 years. You got to go way back. And you look at some of the wins. Overtime against Northwestern, had to come back to take that game into overtime. Fourth quarter comeback against UConn. They were down 20-0 to UNC last week, and they were able to win that game 21-20. They're playing on barred time. Malik Murphy is a good, solid quarterback. I got to give Manny Diaz and Duke credit for getting him in the portal. He has been good. But is he good enough to continue this? I don't think so. I think Georgia Tech is better than advertised. Georgia Tech had Louisville in a good spot. Louisville was able to get out of there with a win in the cover. But Georgia Tech is better than advertised. And, it really starts with Haynes King, the quarterback. I think he's going to have a big game. And I like Georgia Tech minus the 9.5. This will be one of those, when I have played teasers in the past, and especially a 3-team teaser, I love to tease a team down like this. And if I was playing a 3-team teaser this weekend, I would play Georgia Tech and catching the half point, and I would feel incredible about this. I think a lot of people will play Duke plus 19.5, and I think this is a tease breaker. I think Georgia Tech wins this game by 3 touchdowns plus. I think it's a really good spot. I think you get a ton of value. That's an 8 o'clock game, ACC Network. But I do like the Rambling Wreck minus the 9.5. So just to recap what we've got A&M minus 2.5. We've got Georgia minus 24. We've got Washington minus 2.5 or 3, wherever you're getting that. Minnesota plus 8.5 and Georgia Tech minus 9.5. We've got 4 favorites out there. 1 dog. Those are our 5 games that we're going to give you here on the pod. I want to remind you can get all the plays, the daily plays, $49, the weekly $99, the monthly $299. YLose.com/Lance. It is that simple. We are going to win for you. We're very transparent. We're coming off a 6-8 last week. Not good enough. We bounced back with a massive week 6 in college football. It starts on a Thursday, goes to Friday. We set the table, and then we crush it on Saturday for you guys. So jump on board, win with us. Again, we're going to have 3 plays up on Saturday. If we don't go 3-0, you buy the daily for $49, we'll upgrade you to the weekly. You buy the weekly for $99, we'll upgrade you to the monthly. It is that simple. Make sure you tell everybody about this. Share, like, subscribe this pod with your friends. We would appreciate that. It is the YLose Campus pod. We do it every single week right here at YLose. But again, jump on board, win with us. Good luck to everybody out there. Have a safe and profitable week 6. Let's get that shovel out and let's put it upside your bookmaker's head. That's all we got right here. But stay tuned for notifications and big plays coming all weekend long right here on YLose Campus.